Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktaranda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, thanks for the devotees for taking time to come here to our Saturday Satsang program, and also to the devotees who are attending online. We are doing Sri Upanishad series as a part of our Saturday Satsang program, but today we'll discuss some other topic and we'll continue this Upanishad series from next week. So this is one of auspicious weeks in our to all the Vaishnavas across the globe. There are so many Acharyas' appearances and disappearances days that we have observed this week, with tomorrow being Nityanand Trayodasi, so one of the main festivals for us. So on the Wednesday we celebrated Bhishma Ekadashi as well, and many of the Sampradayas also celebrate today's Ekadashi, Bhima Ekadashi. This is also Bhishma Ekadashi that they celebrate. So, Bhismadeva, I will go through one of the prominent acharyas in our itihas, they say, Mahabharata, which is Bhismadeva. He is one of the prominent figure in our literature, and also he is one of the Mahajanas, his acharya, so on. So I'll briefly speak about Bhishmadeva's life story and some of his glories, and then we'll go through a recitation of Bhishma Stuti, the prayers that Bhishmadev has offered to Krishna directly by looking at his face and left the body. So I will tell about the significance of Bhishma Ekadashi, why it's celebrated, and so on. So, before that, Bhishmadev is, as I said, so Vedas say Acharyavan Purusho Vedaha. One of the Stuti mantras say that Acharyavan Purusho Veda. Srila Prabhupada quotes this in one of the purports in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. That is, when we want to understand the crux of Vedic knowledge and what to follow, what not to follow, the easiest way is to follow the acharyas who are Purusho Vedaha, who are the personification of Vedic principles. So whatever they speak, whatever they act, whatever the activities that they perform are in accordance with the Vedic principles. And Bhishmadev is one of the glorious personalities who demonstrated from the beginning to that of end. So how a staunch follower of Dharma and a very pure devotee of the Lord as well. So we know from many of the past times that Bhishma, so Bhismadeva is very valiant. We know him as a fighter. We know him as a grandsire of Kuru dynasty and so on. So before, like, why Bhishmadev has to be Bhishmadev, there is some pastimes which comes from Mahabharata. We'll go through that once. So understanding the lifetimes, like the life stories of Acharyas is very important, as I said, because it gives us the direction, and also there are so many lessons from their life stories. So by following in those principles, we should also perfect our life. So there are so many lessons from the stories of these Mahajanas. So in the story of Ajamil, wherein you can say the policeman or like the followers of Yamadharmaraj asks Yama, from whom we must like the knowledge about Krishna Bhakti or Vishnu Bhakti, who is the authorized bona fide sources that one can rely on? This question was asked. Then Yamadharmaraj says that there are 12 Mahajanas unto whom one can rely for the Vedic knowledge. So the 12 Mahajanas are Swayambhur Narada Sambhu Kumarah Kapilo Manuhu Prahlado Janako Bhishmo Balirvayasa Kirvayam. So Vayam is these all of us, is including himself. Swayambhur, Brahma, Narada and Sambhu, Lord Shiva, and Kumaraha means 4 Kumaras, and Kapila Muni, and Manu is Swayambhu Manu, Prahlada and Janaka and Bhishmadev, and Bali Maharaj, and Vayasakir is Sukadeva, and Vayam means is including with Yamadharmaraj. See, these are the 12 bona fide authorities from whom one should learn Krishna Siksha, like how to follow or like how to execute devotional principles and so on. So these are the bona fide authorities or Mahajanas. So Bhishmadev is one of the Mahajanas. So before, we all know Bhishmadev as Bhishmadev, but Bhishmadev's actual name was Devrata. I'll tell the story behind Bhishma's birth and his pastimes. So there are the universal forces which runs this material world, like air, water, ether, like that. There are some 8 main forces who are reporting to Indra, and they are under the Supreme Lord, which runs. So these are called Vasus, Ashtavasus. So there are 8 Vasus like that. So how it goes, the story is, so before going to this 8 Vasus, so there is another king, Mahavisha. So he is actually the Santanu Maharaj. I'll tell who Santanu Maharaj is. So when he was like he is very pious king. This is like long ago, before the I think at least for like 5-6 generations before the start of Kuru dynasty and so on. So this king Mahavisheka is a very pious king, and he is going through many lokas. As the process of that, he also goes to Brahmaloka, where Brahmaji is there. So there Ganga Devi is also there, who is in a very beautiful form. So then Mahavisha looks at Ganga Devi, and like though the other people are not like giving so much importance to Ganga Devi, he lusts on her. So Brahmaji appears that this kind of things is going on. So he curses Mahavisha to take birth as a human body. So he comes as Santanu Maharaj. So these are all in the beginning of Mahabharata. This is the Adi Parva. Like this is how it starts, the lineage of the Kuru dynasty. So then what happens is, parallelly, so these 8 Vasus whom I said, they have their wives. In that there will be one main Vasu. So he's mentioned as Dhyau, like that it comes his name. So his wife will ask to steal the holy cow, which is Kamadhenu, in the what is Vasishta's supervision basically. So instead of asking Vasishta, and he was hesitant whether he'll give or not, because a Brahmana completely relies on their cow basically, because it supplies ghee, it supplies all the materials for performing yajna and so on. So without asking him, they will they'll make a plot and they'll try to steal the the Kamadhenu from Vasishtha. So Vasishtha observes that and he curses all these Ashtavasus, 8 Vasus, to take as a human form of life, and at least one life you have to take as human beings and go through the entire cycle and come back. So, but later they all go and plead to Vasishtha Muni that we just helped, and he understands that only one of that Vasus has the major part in this like stealing of the Kamadhenu and so on. So he excuses all of them, saying, you will just technically take birth and die, but there will be this main Vasu who stole from me will take full life, and because he is stealing from a Brahmana to please his wife, he will lead a very long life in human form of life without marrying. Like you'll have strong chastity. That's how Vasishtha Muni tells. Though it appears like a curse, these great souls, whatever the curses they give becomes boons, because that 8th Vasu is Bhismadeva. So all these Vasus is the same, like they go to the Brahmaji sloka where Ganga Devi is there. They explain the entire story to Ganga Devi. So Ganga also takes birth. Well, she still has that divinity. So she will actually offer these other 7 or 8 Vasus that don't worry, I'll be your mother, and I will make sure that you come back as soon as I give birth. Like that she'll explain the story. So again there will be some backdrop of the story. Ganga Devi will be like a Ganga in that valleys of Ganges that is there. So this who is his name? Mahavisha will be born as Santanu Maharaj, one of the most noble kings. And Santanu Maharaj, when he is going for hunting and he is traversing through these valleys of Ganga valleys, then he sees Ganga and he falls in love with her, and he offers to marry her. So Ganga says that I will marry you, but there is one condition that you have to fulfill. You should not question what I am doing. Whenever you question, then immediately I will leave you and go. This is what Ganga Devi says to Santanu Maharaj. Santanu Maharaj, being madly infatuated in love with Ganga, he says yes, and then they will have like first kid who is born. So immediately as he is born, Ganga Devi takes the kid and throws in Ganges. She goes to a valley and throws it. And Santanu Maharaj still has so much love on Ganga, he will not speak anything as per the condition. Like that, like 7 sons she will take to a valley and throw them immediately as they took birth. Now because I told this story, you know why. They are the 7 Vasus. They have to go back. And Santanu Maharaj is like waiting for his next heir. So he will not say anything. But the 8th Vasu, when he is born, so Ganga doesn't have the plan of throwing him in the valley, but Santanu Maharaj, thinking that she is going to throw this kid also, comes and confronts Ganga and says, you are not supposed to throw this kid. I need a heir to continue my kingdom. Like that he says. So this is actually Chandravams, the lunar dynasty is what Santanu Maharaj and all come from. So, Ganga says, Santanu Maharaj, like I don't have plan of throwing this kid in the valley. And she'll explain this story, why she threw the 7 previous kids in the like Ganges. And she'll tell that since you have obstructed me in whatever I'm going to do, as per my condition, I'm going to leave you. And so this is also a part of her curse. Like she will also go back to her divinate form. But before going, she'll tell, I will take this kid. I will give you when the time is right. I will teach him all the skills and all the more, like not only Vedic knowledge, but also skills of archery, everything, like all the rules of dharma and all I will teach like that. And she will take that 8th kid. So he is Devavrata. And she names him as Devavrata. Under the Vasishtha and all the glorious sages, he learns all the skills of like warfare, dharmas, moralities, everything. So after so many years, when not so many, I think when he's in a very youth phase, like 15, 16, I guess, then Santanu Maharaj again comes for hunting to that valley. Then there is a small story there, like he will be following some stream of water which goes with very high speed, but like after a certain point, like it's the river stream has like a very interrupted flow. It just stops and it becomes still. He's surprised and he keeps following, and then there he sees in one of the between the trees a demigod like figure. That's what is described in Mahabharata. So he'll be beautiful, like so much effulgence coming from him. He's very young. He has like a very powerful bow on him. And actually his facial features, some of it looks like Shantanu Maharaj actually. So he's surprised and he follows him, but he disappears. He couldn't catch with the speed of that young boy. So he immediately understands that this region is where I saw my ex-wife, so Ganga. And then he like calls for Ganga. So Ganga comes and tells that yes, this is your son. He is Devavrata. And so I taught him what all I know. You can take him now, like that. And Santanu Maharaj brings back Devavrata, and he appoints him as Hair. What is the term called as? The prince who is about to take hair anointed, something like that. There is a term, hair apparent. That's what it's called. Huh? Yeah, basically like that. Yeah, Yavaraja they say, Yavaraja Pattabhishek. In Rama also they say. So this is the prince who is going to take the kingdom, like that. So hair apparent, that's what is the word in Krishna Dharma Prabhu's Mahabharata. So like that he announces, and so they are all going. So Bhismadeva is all going. So parallelly there is another story now. I'll tell how the Bhishma name comes and what lesson is there for us in that. So Devrata is now young prince. So now what happens is Santanu Maharaj, when he is going through some river or something, then he sees one lady called as Satyavati. So she used to be called as Matsyagandhi, but because she united with Parasara Muni and Vyasadeva is born, and like Parasara Muni removes her Matsyagandha. Matsyagandha means she is fisherwoman basically. So she has that the smell that's coming from it, and he removes it. It's like an identity for her. And now Satyavati is very beautiful lady. So Santanu Maharaj again falls in love with her and he wants to marry her. Satyavati says, I am a protected child under my parents. Go and ask my parents, she'll tell. So Santanu Maharaj appears before their parents and expresses his desire. So they say, we don't have problem. You are a very king with a noble character, and very prosperous kingdom is what you are ruling. So you have all the virtues. We don't have problem of giving, but there is one question, like one problem that I have. That is, my daughter is going to be your queen, and you already have a son, Devrata, and there might be a possibility, like means we want our. So usually this is the things in the king's places, right? Like when there is an elder sibling who is ready for the king, any competition, they will start fighting and they'll remove it off. So this kind of unnecessary nuisance will happen in the future. That is one thing we are thinking, they say. So Santanu Maharaj returns back and he will be a little bit dull. So Devrata observes it and calls his ministers and finds out what's going on. So they say the entire story, what was the condition by the parents of Satyavati. So Devrata goes to Satyavati's parents, and then to clarify any misconception, he will tell that I will not marry in this life, so that the only the heirs of this kingdom comes from Satyavati. They can rule and they can rule over the kingdom. I will not take any wife, he says, and like that he says, and he takes a vow of strong chastity throughout his life. So even Santanu also listens about Devrata going there and immediately comes there. And when Devrata said this vow, he took this vow of chastity, Then from the heavens, there were like Devadundhubi, they say, like the drums that they heard, heavenly drums that they heard, and like there is a flowers, the rain of flowers, so that are blessing Devrata, and he is called as Bhishmadev from then. So Bhishma means who took a strong vow and who like lived on his vow throughout his life without breaking it, no matter what conditions that come from. I won't go into the details of the story. There will be a point where the dynasty comes to an end actually. So Vichitravirya and Chitrangada, who are the sons of Satyavati, will die, and there is no heir to the kingdom. So then Satyavati herself comes and asks Bhishma, you have to now marry and continue the progeny, otherwise the lunar dynasty the Kuruvams will not have any continuation to the kingdom. Even then he will tell, mother, I took the vow, I am not going to break it, and that's it. There will be some other arrangement that will be made, and that's how Dhritarashtra and Panduraju, that's where Pandavas come, and also Vidurudev comes from there. So here there are two things. One thing is Devrata gets Bhishma because he took a vow and stuck to it throughout his life. So that is the same attitude we should have when we are taking the Sankalpa or the vows of chanting or breaking 4 regulative principles. That's one strong lesson we should get from Bhishmadev. The second point there is Santanu Maharaj gets so impressed that no matter he is very young, but he took this kind of a very lifestyle changing vow, right? Like not marrying for the entire life. For the sake of his older father, he gets so impressed, and Santanu Maharaj awards a boon to Bhishmadev. So that boon is Ichamruti. That is, everyone like goes through their life and they die basically. But for Bhishmadev, the boon that is given by Santanu Maharaj is he can decide when he can die. So he can delay it, or he can whenever he wants to leave the body, he can. So that Ichamruti boon was given. So why I am saying that is Bhishmadev, when on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when he fell on the arrow bed, he chooses this auspicious time to leave the body, because the sun will be in the northern hemisphere. So this is called as Uttarayana Punya Kala. That is, this is like a morning time, early morning, Mangalarti time for demigods. So in these times, if you leave body, you will go to Urdhalokas. And even Krishna tells that Bhishma went to the superior lokas and all. So Bhishmadev is such an amazing personality, and there are so many glorifications of Bhishmadev. So even Krishna tells, Naham Prabhavimishano Bhishmasya Purushottamaha Soyam Gatim Param Prapya Divyam Lokam Mahatmanaha. Even I, the Supreme Lord, acknowledge the greatness of Bhishma. He is a great soul who has now attained the highest divine realm, Krishna says. And the sages says in Santi Parva that Bhishmo hi satatam dhiman devairapi durasadaha shrutena tapasa chaiva satyena niyamena cha. Bhishma is always wise, and even the gods find him difficult to surpass. His knowledge, so here Shrutena, Tapasa, Satyena Niyamena cha. His knowledge, penance, truthfulness and discipline place him among the greatest of beings. Then Yudhishthir says, Bhavan hi dharma krit sukshmam, Bhavan dharmasya shasita, Tvam martenasti, Tvam ritenasti lokesmen. Yohi dharmam vidhasyati. You are the one who understands dharma in its most subtle form. You are the teacher of dharma. Without you, there is no one in this world who can truly define righteousness. So like that, there are so many glorifications of Bhishmadev. So, as I said, Bhishmadev is like a grandfather of both Kauravas and Pandavas, and he is such a noble personality that everyone looks up to him in following the principles and so on. So, Bhishma Stuti that we will go now, you can repeat after me. I gave you things. We will go from verse to verse. These are the prayers recorded by Bhishma in the Srimad Bhagavatam. That what happens is, the story goes like this. Bhishmadev fights on behalf of Kauravas. So why? Because he is a pure devotee of Krishna. And Krishna loves Bhishma so much. Krishna, there will be a point where before the war begins, Bhishma approaches Krishna. I don't care about these all things. If you want, I can just come towards the side of Pandavas and fight. But Krishna insists Bhishma to be on the opposite side to enjoy Viryaras. So why? Because you'll see these prayers actually consists of Viryaras, like of Bhismadeva. And I will tell you the stories as we go through, so that we will utilize the time. So you can repeat after me. Sri Bhishma Vacha Iti Matirupakalpita Vitrishna Bhagavati Satvata Pungave Vibhumni Swasukham Vupagate Kvachid Vihartum Prakritim Vupeyusayad Bhava Pravaha. So Bhishmadeva said, let me now invest my thinking, feeling and willing, which were so long engaged in different subjects and occupational duties, in the all-powerful Lord Krishna. He is always self-satisfied, but sometimes being the leader of the devotees, he enjoys transcendental pleasure by descending to the material world, although from him only the material world is created. So this what is happening is, so the battle of Kurukshetra is going on, and Bhishma is on arrow bed right now. So the war is finished. So after the war is over, Krishna brings Pandavas, especially Yudhishthir, and also so many sages also come, because Bhishmadeva is leaving the earth. So they all come and they take the final darshan of the Lord. So before these prayers, so there will be like at most 60% of the Mahabharata is Bhishmadeva keeping on speaking. Various dharmas he will listen. Even in the Vishnu Sahasranam it starts like that. Vaisampayana vacha shrutva dharman asesheshan pavanani cha sarvasaha yudhishthira shantanamam punareva abhyabhashata. So he's asking so many dharmas, like what is the Raja Dharma, what is the morality, how the king should rule his kingdom. So all these things Bhishma explained in full detail to Yudhishthir. And in one of the glorification also we saw, he tells Bhavan dharmasya shasita tvam rute nasti lokesmin yohi dharmam vidasyati. That is, if you are not there, there is no one on the loka, in this bhuloka, that no one can elucidate dharma as much as you are. So he gets like the final lessons of dharma and everything. So after that, then Bhishma is now, he understands that his time is like the Uttarayana Punyakala is coming. So he is slowly calming his senses and meditating on Vishnu's form, Krishna's form, which is directly in front of him, and he is chanting these prayers. So, okay. Tribhuvana kamanam tamalavarnam Ravikara Gauravarambaram Dadhane Vapuralaka Kulavrutananabjam Vijaya Sakhe Ratirastu Mena Vadya. So Sri Krishna is the intimate friend of Arjuna. He has appeared on this earth in his transcendental body, which resembles the bluish color of the tamala tree. His body attracts everyone in the three planetary systems, upper, middle and lower. May his glittering yellow dress and his lotus face, covered with paintings of sandalwood pulp, be the object of my attraction, and may I not desire fruitive results. So, now, Bhishmadeva had the darshan of Krishna in the battle of Kurukshetra. So all these glorification verses will be in that mood, how Krishna is in the battlefield. Yudhituragarajo vidhumra visvak Kachalulita sramavari alankritasye Mama nishita sarair vibidhyamana Tvachi vilasat kavachestu Krishna Atma. On the battlefield where Sri Krishna attended Arjuna out of friendship, the flowing hair of Sri Krishna turned ashen due to the dust raised by the hoofs of the horses, and because of his labor, beads of sweat wetted his face. All these decorations, intensified by the wounds dealt by my sharp arrows, were enjoyed by him. Let my mind thus go on to Sri Krishna. Sapadi sakhi vachoni samya madhye. So this is he is glorifying Krishna for giving Bhagavad Gita. Nijaparayor balayor adham niveshya Stitavati para sainikayurakshna Hritavati partha sakhe ratirmamastu. In obedience to the command of his friend, Lord Sri Krishna entered the arena of battlefield of Kurukshetra between the soldiers of Arjuna and Duryodhana, and while there he shortened the lifespans of the opposite party by his merciful glance. This was done simply by his looking at the enemy. Let my mind be fixed upon that Krishna. So Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that at the time of leaving the body, Chajantyante Kalevaram, whatever the thoughts that one has, which is based on the whole life that he has been. So based on that, the next lives or next body will be awarded. So here Bhismadeva as an Acharya showing that while leaving the body, how to meditate on the Krishna's original form. That's what he's saying. So next verse is where he says how he dispels Arjuna's ignorance and bestowed the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Vyavahita pritana mukham niriksha Svajanavadhat vimukhasya dosha buddhya Kumati maharadatma vidyayas Charanaratih paramasya tasya mestu. When Arjuna was seemingly polluted by ignorance, upon observing the soldiers and commanders before him on the battlefield, the Lord eradicated his ignorance by delivering transcendental knowledge. May his lotus feet always remain on the object of my attraction. Yeah. So this is about like Krishna dispelling Arjuna's ignorance and bestowing the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So the next one we'll see. There is a pastime before reciting this. I'll tell very fast. So actually, if you know, before the start of Kurukshetra, there will be Arjuna and Duryodhana approaches Krishna, and then they have this agreement. There is a small pastime I told in the previous Satsang class also. So there is Krishna puts like all the Narayani Sena on one side, and he himself as one side, and he will ask Arjuna to choose one of that. And also another condition he puts is he will not catch any weapon, that he will not fight directly and he will not catch any weapon. That's the vow Krishna takes. I'll be neutral, just as a charioteer I'll do my dharma, he says. So Arjuna tells, no matter whether you are fighting or not, as Arjuna is a pure devotee, he chooses Krishna, and Duryodhana gets all the Narayani Sena. So this is the agreement that is there. So what happens is when the Kurukshetra war, the first 2-3 days that is going on, so they see that the Pandavas are unstoppable. So they are very valiant, they are fighting amazingly. So Duryodhana loses his temper, and because Bhishma is leading the commander of the forces, then he will tell, you are being partial and you are not putting your full effort in making Kurus win. Then Bhismadeva says, this is all your illusion, I am putting my full force. They are just I'll tell, there is another sloka what Bhismadeva says, but then he says that, okay, to clear your illusion, these are the 5 astras that I specifically got to kill the 5 Pandavas. So there are 5 special astras which he says that I will launch this tomorrow in the war, and all the 5 Pandavas will be dead and the war will finish. That's what he says. Then Duryodhana says, okay, let me have it in my possession, he will say, and Duryodhana will have it. And as we went through our ISKCON classes, Lord is omniscient. Yastu sarvasyasya bahyataha, yastu antarasya. Who is within everyone and also everywhere outside also. So Krishna knows that this is the plan that is being conceived there. So what he says is, he tells, so because they are fighting this Dharma Yuddha during that time, They'll have this after the sunrise and before the sunset only they fight. Rest of the time they're all friends. No one attacks any other party. They don't break those laws. So Arjuna goes and there will be some party going on with Duryodhana and he impresses Duryodhana. And Duryodhana, because Arjuna is his brother, he'll tell, I'm so impressed, ask any boon that you want. And then Arjuna tells that I want the 5 astras that you have. So like that, so he cannot, he's a helpless state. So Krishna will tell Arjuna that they have these 5 astras, go and ask these specific 5 astras. So he'll bring back the astras and that plan was failed. So Bhishma knows this. And again, Duryodhana comes and speaks some bad things to Bhishma. So Bhishma gets enraged, and then because this is Viryaras, so it's very nice. So Bhismadeva then takes a vow saying, okay, because Krishna is now outsmarting and playing these games, now I am taking another vow. Tomorrow, by the end of tomorrow, either the Krishna will break his promise and will be like known as the guy who broke his promise, or Arjuna is going to die in my hands, he will say. So this, one of these 2 things will happen. So then the next day warfare, Arjuna knows that Bhishma took this vow. He will be escaping Bhishma. He knows that Arjuna cannot face Bhishma. Bhishma is a Maharathi. Like Maharathi means he can fight like hundreds of chariots only as a single person. That level of valor Bhismadeva has. So he'll try to escape, but Bhishma attacks Krishna and Arjuna's chariot, and then he showers such an arrows. So he will be hitting Krishna. The Krishna's body is pierced with arrows and like the blood will be coming out of it. So you can ask, is Satsidananda Swarupa, how blood is coming? So this is also a rasa that Krishna is playing. Some illusion he's putting there. And also now next what he does is, he will start showering arrows on Arjuna. So first he will hit like Arjuna's kiritam, and then he hits off like a Gandeva bow from his hands, and he starts like showering so many arrows that Arjuna's body is completely pierced with arrows and he will be dripping blood. So his armor is gone. His when the last thing when he blows off his head protection, the helmet, then Krishna understands that Arjuna is not going to survive. So Krishna is now put in between Sakyaras of Arjuna and Viryaras of Bhishma. Then he comes down with such a rage in his eyes that his eyes become so red, and then he jumps, he stops the chariot. Usually chariot is like strategically they move right, but he stops the chariot and he comes down, hey Bhishma, you are dead in my hands, like that. He will come and with a great force take out the chariot, the wheel, and then he will charge at Bhishma with that wheel. So that is the next verse. So that is the image. So Bhishma, you are dead in my hands, like that he will be charging at Bhishma. Now what happened with Arjuna? Arjuna jumps from the chariot, catching the legs of Krishna, and he tells Krishna, you took a vow that you will not hold a weapon. Don't break the vow means like nothing doing for me, my devotees are dear. He is going to kill you today. I am going to kill, and then he will be charging at Bhishma. That's why you see Krishna's also, he will not have armor. Everything in the middle of the rage of war he comes and he will be charging, and Arjuna is catching Bhishma's feet, but the force with Krishna is going, he'll be dragging Arjuna in like the dust, and Bhishma will throw his weapons and he'll be standing, okay Krishna, kill me, like you are the god of all gods, so I am completely surrendering unto you. So this is that sloka which speaks of it. That's why Krishna gets the name because of this Leela, Radhangapani. That is, he wears Radha's anga as the one of the weapons. So that's why in Vishnu Sahasranam we say Radhangapani Rakshobhya iti netram, it comes. So Radhangapani pastime is this. So that is Bhishma's Viryaras actually. And so this next verse speaks about that. Svanigamam apahaya mat pratignam ritamadhikartum avapluto rathastaha Dhritarata charanobhyayat chaladgur haririvahantum ibham gatottariyah. Fulfilling my vow and sacrificing his own promise, he got down from the chariot, took up its wheel, and ran towards me hurriedly, just as a lion goes to kill an elephant. He even dropped his outer garment on the way. So this is the description of Krishna there. So Vijayaratha Kutumba Attatotre Dhritahaya Rasmini Tachriye Kshaniya Niye Bhagavati Ratirastu Me Mumurshor Yammiha Niriksha Hata Gata Swarupam. At the moment of death, let my ultimate attraction be to Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. I concentrate my mind upon the chariot driver of Arjuna, who stood with a whip in his right hand and a bridle rope in his left, who was very careful to give protection to Arjuna's chariot by all means. Those who saw him on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attained their original forms after death. So this is a mercy that Krishna bestowed on the warriors who are even fighting on the opposite side of Pandavas. If he would not have been on the battlefield, they would continue their sinful activities and degrade more and more. But by killing them off in the battlefield, and while dying they are seeing the form of Krishna, he gave them like original forms that Krishna has bestowed upon them. Like that it goes. And also that's why the Lord's Leelas always goes on, Nitya Leelas. So one of the Leelas is Partha Sarathi. As the chariot also, Krishna keeps on continuing. That is one of the Leelas that goes on. Prabhupada writes in the purport of this verse. Lalita Gati Vilasa Valguhasa Pranaya Nirikshana Kalpito Rumanaha Kritam Anukritavattya Unmadandaha Prakriti Magan Kilayasya Gopavadvaha. Let my mind be fixed upon Lord Sri Krishna, whose motions and smiles of love attracted the damsels of Vrajadhama, the gopis. The damsels imitated the characteristic movement of the Lord after his disappearance from the Rasa dance. So here he is meditating on the Rasa dance Krishna. Next. So Munigana Nrupavarya Sankulentaha. So this is one of the last but one verse. Sorry, I keep forgetting this. Yeah, so in the beginning of Mahabharata, before Pandavas are sent to the exile into the forest and so on, so what happens is Yudhishthir, because he is now emperor, he conducts this huge Rajasu Yaga. So Rajasu Yaga means, Prabhupada tells, it's not like any king can conduct Rajasu Yaga. You need to have that much resources and wealth to conduct Rajasu Yaga, where all the kings of the earth unanimously should tell, you are the king of the world. So otherwise they will go and send an army, defeat them, and then forcefully they make us Samantaraja. But many people just, like announce that we are your bannermen, like that. So when Rajasu Yaga is going on, all the kings, comes and offers obeisances to Yudhishthir. And Yudhishthir actually offers Bhishma, actually there will be an Agra Puja. At the end of Rajasu Yaga, you have to take the most elder person and give all the offerings of the Yajna to him. So, Yudhishthir knows whom to offer, but he offers with respect to Bhismadeva. Then Bhishma tells, then all of us here, there is one supreme person, Krishna. The Rajasu Yaga offering should be given to him. So then they'll put Krishna on the throne and give the Rajasu Yaga offerings to him. So this is one of the Rajasu Yaga pastimes that they are saying. Muniganan Rupavarya Sankulentaha Sadasi Yudhishthira Rajasuya Yesham Arhanam Vupapeda Yikshaniyo Mama Drishi Gochara Yesha Aviratma. At the Rajasuya Yajna sacrifice performed by Maharaj Yudhishthira, there was the greatest assembly of all the elite men of the world, the royal and learned orders, And in that great assembly, Lord Sri Krishna was worshipped by one and all as the most exalted personality of Godhead. This happened during my presence, and I remembered the incident in order to keep my mind upon the Lord. He is remembering Krishna in that. And so this is the last verse. Tamimamaham ajam sarira bhajam hridi hridi dishtitam atma kalpitanam pratidrisham ivanaika dharkamekam samadhigatosmi vidhuta bheda moha. Now I can meditate with full concentration upon that one Lord, Sri Krishna, now present before me, because now I have transcended the misconceptions of duality in regard to His presence in everyone's heart, even in the heart of the mental speculators. He is in everyone's heart. The sun may be perceived differently, but sun is one. Like this he offers the prayers, and by looking at Krishna's direct form, Bhismadeva goes to heavenly abode. In Mahabharata, there is one verse. When he is going back in his original form, back to the abode, there is this verse, Divya Dundhubayo Neduhu, Pushpa Vrishtischa Pandava, Gandharvapsaraschaiva, Bhishmam Samprapya Vishtapam. Divine drums resounded and celestial flowers rained upon Bhishma as he ascended to the spiritual realms. Gandharvas and Apsaras welcomed him to the heavens. That's what Mahabharata verse says. So on this auspicious occasion of week of Bhishma, Bhishmashtami and Bhishma Ekadashi, we'll pray to Bhishmadev to bestow that like whatever the beautiful Krishna consciousness that he has exhibited throughout his life, like that, and also give us stability and also the Dhrudavratahane, steady determination, devotional service, and perfect our life. Thank you all. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.